Hi everybody, Adam here. Welcome back to our Lego room. In today's video, we're taking a look at the completed Bricklink designer program set number 910033, the old train engine shed designed by Maria K. And the set came with 2,331 pieces. Really happy with how this turned out. I made a number of changes along the way to make the set work for our layout here and some of the different things I wanted from it, but a really awesome set. And I think this is going to be an amazing addition to our layout here in the Lego room, but will also be a fun piece to take out to train shows as well. Now you will notice that the train shed is on Mills modules. I've made this 1.5 Mills modules wide by 2 Mills modules long. The original set came on 1 base plate wide by 2 base plates long. I made the change to add this extra half base plate running down the side here so that we could shift the track in order to make it so that the track would interface with both our track modules in the Lego room here, but also the ones that we would interface with at train shows. And in order to get everything to line up, I had to move basically everything 2 studs over. This was something that a user of one of my earlier videos mentioned, and was really the best way that I could figure out to get everything to, look the way I wanted it to look on here, try to do minimal disruption to the overall look of the set. But, I really needed that track geometry to line up and to be properly spaced. We're not using very much of this extra module at the moment, since everything just shifted 2 studs. There's still basically 14 studs across here that's not being used. That is going to give us some opportunities, I think, to do some interesting things in the future. You can see that I've already integrated some lights down there, but we'll talk more about that in a moment. The other change that I had to make in order to get everything to fit the way I wanted was to alter the way the track was built up for the track going into the shed, as well as the track out here on the little siding beside the train shed. In the instructions and the way the set was designed, the track was raised too high, so it wasn't going to integrate nicely again with our track modules. So I revamped both of the track sections here and made changes so that the height was appropriate and it would hook into our track modules without any issues. Now, in terms of the Mills base for this, one of the advantages of this, not only does it integrate nicely with our layout here, but I've also taken advantage of that space to integrate our Brick Stuff horizontal power connectors. So you'll notice we've got a connector here. We've got a connector on the side over here. We've got a connector on the side over here. And if we get this turned all the way around, you'll be able to see that we've got the connector on the back there as well. So there is power running throughout this entire module. I'm really excited about that. I think it gives us a lot of interesting opportunities. The areas where I've integrated power into the engine shed and the surroundings, in particular at the moment, we've got these 4 Brick Stuff lights out here. As I mentioned, we've got a lot of extra real estate on this side of the train shed. Going to look at adding some vegetation over here, but was also thinking it could be a nice spot to store some extra sort of, equipment, pallets, that sort of thing, which could make this like an interesting sort of little scenery area on the side of the shed. So that's what I'm looking at the moment. I will work on sort of obscuring the wires a bit more as we add in that scenery and, some of those storage elements. But I think the lighting over here will work really well, not only for the module itself, but since this is going to likely be beside some track in our train yard, I think that this will just add some nice lighting in general. So happy with that. I have also, with the integrated power, added in some lights to the front and sides of the building here. You can see we've got a drop-down light out in front of the shed here. We've got a couple on the side that have power. And we've got one on this little back shed that's attached to the larger train shed. Excited about those. I will show the lights in general in a few minutes. I'll turn out the lights in the room here and turn on all the lights on the module. But I think that these are going to add some nice sort of just ambient light, not something super bright, but will just give you some interesting little hints of the different elements around the train shed exterior, and should look pretty cool in the overall layout. This will be really the biggest area that we've added lights outside of the city. So looking forward, I think this is really going to look cool and should highlight all the different elements around the exterior of the train shed. On top of that, I do have some lighting inside the shed as well. There's two main lights mounted to the sort of crane gantry system that's inside there. So we've got lighting on the inside and the outside as a result of the power flowing through this module. And this will be sort of the module that kickstarts a lot of the lighting down through the train yard and the industrial area in our layout, because now we can start to use these various power connectors here to fan power out throughout that side of the layout. So really happy with that. I think it's going to be really cool. Couple trade-offs as a result of the power here. You'll notice that the light on the front of the train shed here, it obstructs the door a little bit. I actually extended the light fixture out an extra stud so that the light would fit there with the doors closed. And it does mean that if I want to open the shed doors, I need to, oh, that's not good, just a second. So this is really more of a, something I would do with two hands in order to make sure that none of the bricks come off. But you can see you turn the light sideways there, and then that enables you to open up the doors into the train shed. I'm fine with that. I really like what the light brings to the equation here, and being able to have that light shining down in front of the train shed. And I don't think I'm going to be opening or closing the doors to the shed very often. We'll see. My expectation is that those doors are probably going to be open most of the time when this is in the layout here. And we'll probably have an engine parked in the, sort of half into the shed, half out of the shed here. But, we'll see over time. Might come up with some other ideas for moving the light around. There's always the potential that I could move it up into the roof part here. But since the roof of the building comes off, That just makes the wiring a little trickier, not impossible, but a little trickier. So, you know, for now, I'm quite happy to just move the light up and down as needed, and you know, everything should be fine. And I think that this is going to be, you know, I think the light out front here is going to be great, and I think the lighting in general is going to add a lot to this module. So really looking forward to getting it integrated into the layout to sort of fully test out the lighting, but I'll show you the lighting more in a moment. There's a few other elements I want to show you guys first. One of the other things that I was really impressed with about, you know, with the set was the decorative elements. You can see out front here, we've got a nice palette with some different storage containers, a great power pole here. Love the fact that we've got the bird in a nest up on top there. And then we've got this great little tower here, assuming it's maybe for sand or water. I'm sure people can mention down in the comments what it is specifically, but I think a cool touch for the servicing of locomotives coming in and out of the shed here. Also really like the look of the clock here on the side. I did find it a little funny that the clock, that's a sticker on there for that clock face, but they only give you one sticker. So the back of it is just black. I thought that was a little surprising. I would have liked to have had the clock face on both sides. I'm sure something that we could get an additional sticker for or do something on our own, but just something that I noticed in the process of putting this together. It just seemed, you know, it's a little odd, but, you know, not a huge deal ultimately. In terms of details, again, really love the piping along the underside of the roof here. And I think these great elements across the roof part there are awesome as well. You will notice in general quite a few plant elements throughout the build. Some great vines and plants here at the front, and that carries on at the back here on the side of the building and onto the rooftop area for the shed over here. Nice to see. I think that adds, you know, an extra bit of flavor to the set. It's definitely still a number of spaces that I could add plants and trees to, but I thought that it was nice that they included some of that in the set, and I thought those were great elements and add a lot to the overall look of the train shed. Other nice details, love the fact that we've got the hand car here. I think it looks awesome. I could see not only having this here, but maybe even displaying it out in other parts of our layout. So really nicely done. I thought that was cool. Great little trolley here with some different containers on it. And then, like I said, we've got the shed out back here. Lots of fun elements attached to that. You know, first off, we've got the drain here that's coming off the side of the roof. A great little chimney coming out the front of this shed. There's a little stove on the inside. Another nice touch. Also really loved, you can see here the fence that we've got going across the back here. Really awesome parts there, and I thought that was an interesting way to build a fence. Adds a nice little bit of scenery to that sort of back part of the build there. You can also see we've got a fan here, which I think is a really nice element. And then as you come around this side again, you can see where I've added the lights here. I think these are going to be really cool. And like I said, really looking to extend, you know, we can use some vegetation down here, maybe a few more pallets and containers. We could probably work in another bit of fence down the side here, which would look nice. So looking forward to kind of continuing the great decorative work that they included in the build with some of our own touches on the side of the module here. And while we're on this side of the module, also worth noting, you'll see the newspaper in some of the windows. That was another sticker that was included in the set. Not too many stickers overall. There was these newspapers, the clock. There is this little sort of warning element on the door here, and then some stickers for the internal crane gantry system on the inside. So not a bad number of stickers. I thought they were all useful, so not too bad. Was happy with that. And one other, while we're talking about decor, really like the power symbol and the little caution sign underneath here. I thought those were cool elements on that power pole as well. Now with the lights off in the room here, it's still a little light outside, so it's not pitch black, but you get a bit of a feel for the light that all of the different fixtures are going to provide. Like I said, really happy with these outdoor lights off the side of the building. I think they're going to add some interesting lighted elements and some interesting shadows as well. And you can see the light above the shed door there as well. Looking at the interior of the train shed, I think the interior lights add a lot. Like I say, sort of in general in my lighting videos, really like the idea of interior lights as a way of appreciating all of the details that are included on these building interiors and that you don't normally get to see from the outside or see as well. So nice to be able to look through the windows here and see some of the great tooling and different elements that have been added to the train shed. So really happy with these lights. Like I said, I think these exterior ones are going to look really cool when it's added into the layout. And, you know, I don't want everything to be super bright light. So having some more muted exterior lights around some of the industrial areas, I think will be really nice. You can see a little bit of that light that the element on the front of the train shed provides. And then let's flip this around so you can see the other side, the lights over there, and then we'll look closer at the interior of the train shed. So you can see on this side of the shed, definitely brighter lights, which I like. I think these will help illuminate some of the edges of the train yard, like I mentioned. And once we get some of the other foliage and decorative elements included on this side over here, I think that these lights will work really well and be a nice contrast to the sort of more muted lights on the other side of the building. So really happy with that. Now you can look inside the train shed from the end here. I'll take the roof off in a moment so you can look closer at some of the different elements. But you can see what I mean about the light adding a lot here. Really helpful for appreciating a lot of the different tool and sort of workstation elements throughout the train shed. You'll notice you can see some wires here when you're looking in from this end. Not too worried about that. That's not a view that I expect to be typically visible to people. I've used some sort of sticky tack to keep the wires down and out of the view of the windows for the most part. So happy with how the wiring is looking, and generally I think we've managed to really highlight the the interior of the shed here with these lights. One other thing you'll notice here is that I'm running track all the way down into the train shed. The set itself came with, didn't come with track. I'm using my Bricklink track here, but it didn't come with any of the Lego straight track. It just came with the sidebars for the railway track, which then would go down into the shed here and would form the siding area outside of the shed. I really want, since this is going to integrate with my other track that I have around the layout, and I'm going to want trains moving in and out of the shed and siding area here, I really wanted to have proper track. I know it's not entirely sort of authentic for the interior of the shed here. It would make it a bit more difficult for people to work on the underside of train cars or locomotives, but this was just a decision I made based on what I thought would look best and integrate best with the rest of my layout. And so as a result, went with my actual track here. Still a few parts that I need. You'll notice I need to do I need some 1x2 dark bluish gray to finish off the track here to make it look nice and pristine. And when I get more of the wooden railway tie parts, I will put that down the siding area, and I will use it on probably just this first stretch here heading into the shed. Probably no reason to extend it farther back into the shed, but those are a couple of things that I still need to do with the track. Now let's turn the lights back on, and I'll lift the roof of the shed off so you can see the interior. So as you can see, the roof comes off there. Really nice design for the roof structure. Like how easy it is to take it on and off. And if we look here at the train shed now, you get a better view of the piping along the edge of the roof line here. You can see the fan that we saw from the outside there. As I mentioned, there's this crane sort of gantry system that you can move back and forth through the, sort of across the shed, which I think is a really nice touch. That is where I've chosen to add the interior lights for the train shed. So we've got a light element attached right there, and then another one on the other side. So I probably won't move this around a lot because I don't want to mess up any of the wiring, but I think it works well for, giving me, for lighting, a good central system to sort of hang the lights off of. But I think it's also a nice fun element that really sort of fits in with the utility of this structure. You can see the chain hanging down there with the hook on the end of it. In addition to that, we've got lots of elements sort of decorating the interior of the shed. You can see we've got a place for hats and helmets over there, some nice tool storage, a nice little rolling workstation there. We've got the fire extinguisher, some various chemical tanks for, I assume that would be for welding. The yellow and the blue one there. You can see where I've hidden some of the expansion boards and wiring for the lighting in the back corner there. We've got what I think is a lathe here on the back wall. Really cool element. Let me just move this around so it's a bit easier to see. So I believe that's a lathe back there. And then I think we've got a drill press right here. a vise grip there. Not sure if that's attached to a tool in particular. We've got a nice lantern down here. And then, oh yeah, we've got over here by the front door, we've got the walkie-talkie and the phone there. So a really nice interior. I think that there's a lot of interesting elements in there, and I could definitely, you know, I think they work really well for this particular build, but I could see copying a few of those for, you know, adding to other building interiors. I think it's got a really nice cross-section of different machine tools that you would expect to see in a building like this. So I thought that was cool. It added a lot to the interior of the train shed. And, you know, I didn't know what to really expect from the interior. I'd seen a lot of pictures of the exterior. So it was cool to see that there was a lot of effort and decor that went into the interior part of the build as well as the exterior. Because I think, you know, especially with the lighting, it gives a lot of cool stuff to look at when you're looking in through the windows or the front door for the train shed. Also worth noting, there were 6 figures. I think we've got 6 here. We'll see these 6 figures on this side of the building that came with the set. So we've got the older gentleman here. Really like the torso and the leg print on that one with the apron. Great octan torso here. So I was really happy with the overall sort of variety in minifigures that came with the set. I thought this orange torso was really cool as well. Great mustache on this minifigure, the nice dog there. And then we've got the, yeah, this is the last one. There's no other ones hiding around the corner. And then we've got this figure here. So 6 figures plus the dog. I thought that was really cool. You know, there's a lot of different ways you could pose those figures around the train shed to, you know, make them sort of fit into the day-to-day operations, but overall quite happy with each of the figures. So overall, really happy with the old train engine shed. I think this was a great Bricklink designer program set. I think it's going to be an awesome addition to our layout. Next steps, I'm going to integrate it into the layout. I think it's going to go where the warehouse is right now, and we'll move that to a different spot in the layout. But with this moving into the layout, like I mentioned, I think it's, you know, I'm really happy with the way the lighting has turned out for this set on its own. But, you know, with all the different power options we have added to this module, it's going to now serve as a great way to kickstart the lighting spreading out through the industrial / train yard portion of our layout. So that's really the next big thing. We'll get this integrated into the layout and start to sort of add power to other modules around it. This basically takes up the same footprint as the warehouse currently does. I would like to update the warehouse a little bit. There's a few elements on it that need to get finished off and sort of polished up. But as part of that, I think it would be great to add a number of lighting elements to it in the same sort of way that we have, you know, integrated lighting here. And I think that will add a lot for that module or that building as well. So really excited about, you know, not only how this module is going to look in the layout, but how the changes in here are going to start to filter out into some of the other areas of our layout. You know, also want to try to work some of the different decor elements, have those spread out around the layout as well. So lots of cool stuff ahead. And this module is one of the ones that I plan to take to an upcoming train show. So I think it's going to be a lot of fun to display this there as well. Also have some ideas how I could build another train shed based on this sort of design and layout that would have a different sort of feel to it. So we might embark on that project at some point in the next month or two as well. But overall, super happy with the way this set has turned out. Definitely some modifications that I had to make, you know, especially for integrating the lighting and getting all the tracks set up so that it would integrate with the rest of our layout. But really happy with how all of those changes have worked. And, you know, it's going to be a lot of fun now to see this around the layout. So, you know, we'll do another Lego room / layout tour in the next day or two. So keep an eye out for that video and you will see this module in place as well as some of the other things we've been working on around the layout. So lots of fun there. If you have not subscribed to the channel, please make sure to do so that you don't miss out on any of our upcoming videos. And thank you very much for watching. We will see you again soon. Take care. Bye.